Welcome back to Roaming with Restless Women. Today, I have a longtime person that I've been trying to get on the podcast for quite a while, but our calendars kept missing, so we're finally here today, and I'm really excited. Cindee Williams is a Maxwell leadership coach. She's a certified speaker, a disc behavioral consultant, and a founder of the coaching platform Lead My Life. With over 30 years of experience running a family-owned business, Cindee blends real world leadership expertise with her passion for empowering empty nest women, as you see behind her there, living beyond the nest. I love that. She helps women rediscover who they are beyond mom, gain unshakable confidence, and reignite a sense of purpose for this new season of life. A lifelong health and fitness advocate, Cindee encourages women to embrace midlife with resilience, clarity, and confidence. Known for her relatable storytelling and actionable insights, she equips her audience to take the lead in their own lives and create meaningful impact in their families, their workplaces, and in their communities. Exciting news! She's getting ready to publish her book, This Season of You, just in 6 days from now on April the 26th. This obviously will air after that, so it'll be out there by the time this airs. So welcome, Cindee. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you, Julie. I'm so excited for a talk. It's been a long time coming.
It has been, it really has. So let's start out by telling me a little bit about why you decided to focus on women who are becoming empty nesters.
Well, usually we go from where we've come from, right?
Right,
The
exactly.
experience is, and I came to a point in 2018 that's really, I just turned 50. Both our kids launched out at the same time. They're a year apart, and it just happened that way that they left the nest both at the same time. And we dropped our daughter off at college in Texas, came home. We opened the front door of the house and we were like ready to do the happy dance,
Yeah,
like woo.
exactly.
And we walked in and the house was so unusually quiet. It's a whole different quiet that you can never quite prepare yourself for.
Right.
And I'll have people tell me, "Oh, well, you launched your kids off and that's wonderful." And that's true. I was not sad because I missed the kids. You miss them, but it was more of this feeling like, who am I now?
Yeah.
It was just like this ache. The house was so quiet. The packing lunches, the counselor, the taxi driver, even all the work, career work, and we're
Oh,
business
yeah.
and even all of that was kind of wrapping to a close. So it was a whole new season of life. And I gained a whole new appreciation for what that is. I went on my own journey myself, and I didn't have anybody that I could really cling to and ask questions to. And I'm like, okay, if I can get on the other side of this mountain, I'm bringing other people up with me. Right. So
Good for
that's
you. 100%. So I get the whole walk in the house, and it's not even for me, it wasn't as much the quiet and the silence as it was the lack of energy. Like they
right.
had left and taken that young, never being satisfied, never being still kind of energy with them. And I walked in and I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
feels good. And then it started to feel boring. You know?
Yeah. No,
And then it was like, okay, I've got to create that energy back in myself,
mhm.
and how do I do that? So
Right. And that's
absolutely, I get it.
your term restless, because what
Yeah.
I first saw that, and I had all the energy in the world because I felt like, okay, now I have all this newfound time and energy,
Hmm.
but I didn't know where to place it.
Right.
I didn't know where I belonged. I didn't know what my strengths and my gifts were. I knew what everybody else in my family, I knew their gifts.
Of course.
Been pouring into those for so long. But just that restlessness, like, okay, I'm ready to go, like a horse at the gates, but I
Yes.
didn't know where I was going to run. And I had to figure that out.
Well, and the thing about it too is, like you said, when you don't have somebody, when you're not in the situation,
Mhm.
it's hard to talk to somebody about getting ready for the situation.
Right.
You kind of have to experience it first, and then
Mm.
you realize what you're missing or what you might need help with. It's not
Right.
something you can, it's like having I'm going to say this, it's like having a grandchild. You cannot express what that feels like until you have one.
So you do.
And it's wonderful, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's one of those situations where there's no adequate preparation necessarily for it. You just have to experience it and then back up and find other people who've been,
Right.
like you said, up that mountain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but fine. I eventually just had to really focus in on women who were faster, stronger, doing things that I had discovered I really wanted to do, and then learn how to attach myself to them. I had been, I'm not even going to say a stay-at-home mom because I don't think there's any such thing. We're never at
Right.
home, right? But I was a behind-the-scenes mom, and
Yeah.
we had businesses, my husband and I, and family businesses and all these things. So I had always been helping with all those things. But when, in this new phase of life, it was okay. I want to try something out on my own. I've always wanted to write a book. I wanted to get into real estate. My family, my dad was a big real estate guy. Just I wanted to see what I could do. And it is really an amazing process, but you have to develop an inner circle. And I really didn't have that because I was so focused on my kids and making sure that they have what they needed to succeed.
So how do you go about creating this inner circle for your clients? I'm assuming that you help do that for them, either help them find one or come into yours.
Right, right. So yeah, at Lead My Life, we do have a community and a connectiveness with that. But I find, and I don't, maybe you can tell me if this is true for you, that we can come out of this phase of momhood, of the raising part of our kids, right? Because we're
Mhm.
shifting into a new role of what motherhood looks like without strong connected friendships if we've been moving, or maybe we were so career driven and we had the kids and all that, that we didn't build
Mhm.
real strong friendships. So it almost was like I was starting from scratch. When I was growing up, we moved 18 times in 18 years, which really kind of, I don't want to ever put any blame on my parents because I had a beautiful childhood, but we moved a lot, which meant
Yeah.
that I didn't have consistent lifelong friends that some women have. So I had to learn how to make friends. And what I did for myself is what I started telling my coaching clients to do is I started something called my 52 coffees challenge, because
Oh,
I had
okay.
lost the ability to like know how to have a conversation, how to be interesting, besides talking about peanut butter and jelly or turkey and cheese,
Or the next T-ball game or the next,
you
yeah,
know, whatever
fundraiser.
it was. So my 50 days challenge is to identify women leaders in your community, business owners, people that you would aspire to, and invite one woman out to coffee every single week that you don't know, not your mom, not your sister, to have a
Yeah.
conversation with them, to find out their story, to find out what helped them gain success in their eyes or significance. And I learned how to have conversations through that. That was the other side of the coin. Is it was eye to eye conversation. It was in person,
Hmm.
human connection, which we desperately need. And all of a sudden, first it was one coffee a week, and then it was like three or five. And then, that's really how my coaching program got started. But my confidence started building. And then
Yes.
my family would have labeled me as an introvert, just this woman
Oh,
who likes to stay within the four walls, take care of the family, do the job, do all the things, but I wouldn't go out and make friendships. And now they're calling me mom 2.0. Like, who the heck are you?
oh,
Going, wow, like I blossomed, I was a late bloomer. And so just doing that, and it was hard because I was uncomfortable with it and I didn't have the confidence, but that shot me up like nothing else. And just learning from women who were, maybe the president of the Chamber of Commerce, or they were on city
hmm.
council, or I would meet with the mayor, and at first I was like, why would they want to meet with me? who am I that
Oh,
they would really sit down? I had that lack of confidence. And then
yeah.
pretty soon I found that all women want to sit down. They all want to share their story because they all have something amazing about their life. And it was really incredible. So that's
That,
I did that for me, and that's how I encourage the ladies that I work with.
that's amazing. That's tremendous, tremendous. Because one thing that I found when I started my business, and it was during COVID, I lost my job, and so I started my
Mm,
own coaching and consulting business. I wound up being introduced to a lot of online women's
yes.
entrepreneur groups. If I had not had that,
Mhm.
I don't know what I would have done. Now, I was a little bit beyond in the empty nest part when I started my business. So, but when I went into my empty nest phase, I had so much, I was so focused on work,
Mhm.
and the relationships I had at work kind of fed that need for me.
Yes.
When I lost my job because of COVID, I lost my work friends. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't lose them, but it
Right.
wasn't the same as the every day I know about your family, you know about mine, blah blah blah. Also, being a consultant, I traveled every week for years, years and
Mm.
years. I was like the antithesis of the stay-at-home mom. And so I really was. And for that's just how it turned out in my life. But I was not in a community to put
Mhm.
down roots with the Chamber of Commerce or the whatever, whatever. I was never, and then when we went on the road, same thing.
Mm.
So now I'm starting to realize that outside of my personal, like college friendships that have been there forever and high school and all of that, and my family, obviously, I really don't have a circle of friends here in this
Right.
geography. We
Right.
just moved here in September. So now I love your idea of inviting them for coffee. I mean,
Yeah.
that's easy enough to do. I'm in a very small community. I could easily do that and meet and tons of incredible women.
Yeah.
I need to,
Before we went on, we just moved here to Montrose, Colorado in November. So you just moved in September. So
wow.
we're both new to our communities. And that
Yeah.
was really scary because I had spent, well, the last 8 years just really building this community. And I was speaking professionally, doing all this stuff in California, and just had this strong network. And I'm like, how am I going to give that all up
Oh,
to
yes.
move to a town that has 20,000, 25,000 people in rural Western Slope, Colorado? How am I going to do that? So,
Hmm.
but the same things that worked in our town above San Diego, they work here in rural Colorado as well. It's people want human connection, but we have to move
Yeah.
outside the walls of our home. We have to step out. We have to take a risk and locate those people you want to talk to. And I tell you, I feel both my husband and I feel like we have more close friends here in what, 6 months than we had living our entire lives in California.
How
I mean,
about that?
every weekend we're going out with couples and we're doing road biking and we're doing all these things. It's like, how did that happen? It happened because of the habits that we formed, 10
Yes.
years ago or so. And you don't move into a new area lacking. You've just
Yeah.
stacked up experiences and now you can apply them to a new situation and take off. So it's not going to take us another 35 years to build. I hope
No, it
not.
doesn't sound like no.
Yeah, I'm too old to start all over again.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah.
we bring a lot with us every time we make a move. Every
Mhm.
every new season of life. We don't lose everything that happened before. It's a building
No,
process. You're right.
no,
Absolutely. So
yes.
what advice would you give women who are facing the empty nest besides, create your community? What other advice do you find yourself giving to your clients, or what challenges besides finding their purpose again, I guess,
Yeah.
are they facing that they're talking to you about?
I like to say that, people will tell you before you head it, before the kids leave, oh, you need to find something to fill your time. You
Oh,
need to find a hobby. You need to do this. You need to do that. That's all very outcome and activity based.
yes.
I would say forget all the what's, and find out your who first.
Yeah.
Find out who you are. Take time to be quiet. Take time to, one of the very first things that I did was I went on a ski trip.
I
I,
love
I
it.
I had written a book, my very first manuscript, which is now in a nightstand table because I really feel like your first one nobody gets to see.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's like it's not that good. But it's what I needed to get out on paper. But I just loaded up my car and I went to a writers conference and I drove up the coast of California in my red car. I said I should have had like a scarf and
Yeah. The sunglasses.
and I just spent time by myself. I had never been by myself for more than an hour at a time. Drove up, stayed at a little inn in Pismo Beach by myself, went up into the Santa Cruz Mountains, went to a writers conference, found out that, my manuscript was junk, and that's okay. It wasn't a failure. It
Yeah.
wasn't a failure because I went and I had the courage to put it out there in front of literary agents and publishers and things like that. And then I drove back home, and in that process, I just discovered this bravery and this courage that I had. I discovered the things that I love to do. I always start with my coaching clients with DISC. Are you familiar with DISC?
Very much. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
and
an, I'm an ID.
I'm a DI.
Okay.
Yeah, but just start there. Start understanding who you are. DISC is for those who don't know, it's basically your communication style. But you
Right.
sit there, the Maxwell DISC gives you like a 40-page analysis of your personality and your strengths and what you need to work on. Start there. Start
Yes.
with the groundwork of understanding who you are. Forget the activities, forget all that. That will come in time, but you need to know who you are before you know what to do. And before you know what
Absolutely.
your why is. I truly believe that.
I 100%. I go, who, why, now what?
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
kind of in that order. You're right.
Yes. Yes, Simon Sinek says, find your why. I say, no, don't start with why. Got to start with
No.
who. Who first, because you won't even know what your why is until you know who you are. Totally agree.
Well,
We're
who
on.
you are and the value that you alone and uniquely can create.
Yes.
And, it doesn't have to be earth shattering.
No.
And I think a lot of people go on these internal quests wanting to have the big light, the big lightning moment and all of this, when really all we really need to pay attention to is the little things. How are we feeling today? What is jazzing us up? What are we curious about? Are we still learning? Are we reading? What YouTube video am I watching about gardening and or whatever?
Right.
It's the whole understanding. How can I create value in the world? I think that's why we're here to begin with.
Absolutely 100%. Right. And
Right.
for me, it was like I had been so busy for so many years with my head down to the grindstone, taking care of the business and the kids and all of that, that I had no idea what value I brought other than outcomes, right? Or
Right.
income. That's all I knew. And I just wanted to garden. I just wanted to
Yes.
go for a walk in the field for a couple hours and just feel peaceful about that. And so what really came of the really for both my husband and I, we both went on this journey together, is we wanted to build businesses that bless back, that
Yes.
that bless our families back, that bless our communities, that our business would be built around our lifestyle in this stage of life. He's 65, I'm turning 58. we I can never imagine not working. I think retiring is like
Right.
getting tired over and over again, but you move into your life's work now. And I
Yeah.
want whatever we do, I just want it to be able to empower others, to bless others, to, what does that look like? But you have to start out with what value, what's in my hand right here? What do I
Yeah.
have to offer up to the world? And it can be so simple, so
Oh, yeah.
simple.
Yeah. A listening ear, a lot of times,
Yes,
is all that's
yes,
needed.
yeah,
That's for sure. Well, this has been awesome. I need to move us along to my last three questions. Before we get into that, though, tell people how they can get a hold of you, and most importantly, how can they get your book?
yes. Well, the best place is kind of this, I guess, not the spoke, the hub of the wheel would be leadmylife.com. So you can go there, you can
Okay.
schedule a call with me if you want to talk, or you can find the link to the book there or on Amazon.
Perfect. I will make sure that's in the show notes, Cindee, for
Okay,
sure.
okay,
Okay, so here are my last three questions for
okay,
you. The first one is if you could close your eyes
okay.
and tell me what you see in your mind's eye when I say wise woman.
Mm. Um, I have a verse that's my favorite verse, and it says, "But I am like an olive tree flourishing in the house of my God." And when I envision wise, I just envision that olive tree, somebody who is deeply rooted and grounded, knows what they stand on, is determined to do that, but is also sprouting up, spreading out those big, strong branches to bring shade
Mm-hmm.
and to produce fruit for other people. That's wisdom to me. That's what
That
I
is
want to
100%
be.
wisdom. 100% wisdom. Perfect. I love that. So the next question is, where do you like to roam? We've talked a little bit about this.
Mm, anywhere in the great outdoors.
Yeah.
A day not outside is just like I just can't function. So we love the mountains. That's why we finally moved away from the beaches of California to the mountains of Colorado. And we roam all the time. Our lunch hours, my husband will go, okay, got the bikes in the car. We go out on the mountain bikes for a couple hours, then come back and finish our work. But if I could roam outside in the mountains for here until my end, I'm good.
Beautiful. I too love the mountains.
Yeah,
We're kind of an hour and a half from the beach, and I love the beach as well, but I prefer outdoors as well, for
yeah.
sure. Absolutely. Okay. So what makes you restless in a good way?
The restless in a good way. Yeah, sugar can make me restless in a bad way.
Yes, exactly.
Restless in a I never want to stop.
Yeah,
I don't want to stop. I want every day lead my life means to live exceptional and to advance daily. If I'm not advancing daily, if I'm not striving to live an exceptional life, something's missing in my life.
right.
So that to me, that's what I'm restless for. Every day I want to wake up and learn and move forward every day.
It's an add to,
Yeah.
not a take from.
No. No.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, oh, it's been so wonderful talking with you, Cindee. I
Here, you
really, really appreciate your being here with me. And folks, make sure you take a look at the website and make sure you order the book too. It sounds like it's going to be a great one. Cindee, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been such a joy to talk to you, Julie.
Same here.
Julie Noonan here. Thank you so much for listening to Roaming with Restless Women. If you're a successful senior woman leader who would like to be on this program, please visit podcast.intuitivewisdomcoach.com. If you enjoyed this interview, please share this episode on social media and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Your thumbs ups and reviews go a long way.